Yeah, good morning. Welcome to today's tutorial. Today's tutorial will be talking about Sofa. First of all, let's open Sofa. We'll be creating topography map using Sofa and importing into AutoCAD. We have opened Sofa. This is the interface of Sofa. You close this. Then you open your file that is saved on your notepad. That is your XYZ file. This is my folder. I save my file on new pad. Okay, let me look for my XYZ folder. Okay, these are my datas. Let's assume that this is the data that we got from the field using our instruments, either differential or total station or level instruments. The main target is that we have our XYZ, which are in notepad. We can also import this data to our Excel. Let's assume that this is a notepad. This is the Excel. This is the data in Excel, which is the easting, northern, and heights, ENZ. We can also some of the data come with description. We can also say ENZ and D, which is the easting, northern, height, and description. But we need only the ENZ. You can import it using from the Excel, or you can import it from the notepad. From the Excel, is in space delimited, but on the notepad it is in comma delimited. Now I minimize the Excel, then I open my notepad. Let's also minimize the notepad, then import the data into our Sofa. To import the data into our Sofa, first of all, let's click on the grid. Then we click on the grid data. We click on browse. Now let's locate where we kept our XYZ data, depending on the format we saved our data. I saved it as Topo on desktop. We click on open. Now it has converted the data to adding a line to demarcate the data, which is our easting, northern, and height. Now the delimiters, which are the space, tab, semicolon, space, and order, has been converted to a normal Excel or spreadsheet data. Now we have confirmed that the data is okay. Then we click on OK. Then the easting, which is in column A, nothing in column B. You can also make further changes or setting here. Then we click on next. Click on next. Now this is a kind of a variogram of how the data are. Then we click on next. Now this is the data which I picked on an interval of 25 meters. This is a perimeter which I picked the top of the perimeter on an interval of 25 meters. So this is I grid the data and I picked the interval of 25 meters. That is when picking the data with my instrument. Now we click on next. We click on next. You can do further setting here. Minimum Z, date the maximum height limits. You can set it, but we are not setting anything because we need our data as it is. So we need the grid report. We can cancel that, we don't need the grid report, but I need the grid report. Then we'll click on this. Is can say you need this 3D surface software, but what I need is a contour. Then we click on finish. Click on finish. Now the software automatically creates a grid report. The grid report is in form of the summary of everything about the data which we have imported. This is the grid report. Now we save the grid report by typing Ctrl S, or when we try to close the grid report, it's a dialog box appears and asks us to save the changes to the grid report topo. We click on yes, then we save it on our desired folder. Now I'm saving it on my desktop for this tutorial sake. I can click on save, or I create a new folder. It depends on how you want to save your data. I save it in my new folder as grid data report topo, or any other format that you desire to save your data. Now I've saved my folder. Now this is our contour. This is our contour. To import the contour into our drawing, we can either import it with this color, or you can make further changes on it. To make further changes on our contour, we click on the drawing. You can click on the drawing on the software interface. Then we go back to the home tab. Now here we can manipulate anything we want on the software interface. This is our map. When we click on this mark sign on the left side of the map disappears. When we click it on, it appears. When we click this for the right axis disappears. When we click it on, it appears back. When we click for the left axis, it disappears. When we click for bottom and the top, and when we click also for the contours topo, the contour itself disappears, leaving the boundary lines. Now what I'm to do now is I want to edit my contour. To edit it, you click on the contour. You click on the contour, you select levels. Under the level, you have so many settings which you can minimize or maximize the data here. When you click on the plus sign, the data under general will appear, and you can edit so many things. On the general, we can on the color scale, which is this, or we can off it. Now let's leave it on for now, but we won't be needing it. Now let's click on the measure contour, which is the thick black line, which is the measure contour, and the other line, which is not much visible, is the minor contour. Now let's make an editing on the measure contours. We click on the measure contours, we click on color to set our measure contours color. Let me use blue for now. Now as you can see, the color changes on the contour. I can increase the width to make it much more thicker. Now let me leave it as 0.01. As you can observe, if I increase the width, it affects the scale bar beside the contour, which shows that these lines are this contour line are this scale bar line are the reference of this contour line. Now you can click on this to off and on the label for the measure contour. Now this is used to set the contour at every, we can say we need our contour at every 5 meters, or we can either increase it, our interval, measure contour interval at every 5 meters. Now we are leaving it at the 5 meter. This is the minimum and the maximum contour. Now let's minimize the general, minimize the measure. Let's open the field contour. Now the field contour, as you can see, is off. If I click on this side, I can on the field contour. As you can see, the field contour can be changed into different colors. We can leave it as a terrain color, we can leave it as other colors, but for now I'm leaving it at the gray color, and I'm not using it because I am importing this data to AutoCAD so that we can manipulate it easily. So let's off our fill color. Now let's close the fill color and open the minor contour. On the minor contour, we can on the label for the minor contour, and we can edit our style, or we leave it as solid normal style. This is the color. We can change the color to, let's say, smart blue. Now as you can see, it has changed. I think let me leave it a navy blue. I think this is okay. Let's go back to the measure contour and increase its width so that it can be easily identified as the measure and the minor contour. It's not a must that you will use the blue line color. You can either choose any color of your choice depending on your contour specification. Now let's click, we can click on the show label, or we can off the label. Now let's go back to the general. We can edit our contour interval, let's say 0.1. As you can see, the label has filled places. We can say we need it at every 10 interval, which is not supposed. As you can see, this is our contour interval at 10. You can leave it at 0.5. 0.5, or we can leave it at 0.2, depending on your specification for your contour interval. Let me leave mine as 0.5. You can set the level method as different. You can leave it as equal area. As you can see, the label has changed as the decimal point for the label has changed. You can click on advanced. We are leaving it as a simple contour. So now we can, let's close, minimize the general, minimize the minor. Let's open the label. Now the label is used to control the text in the contour. I can click on the font style. Let's click on the font properties and then click on the font we can change it to our desired font style. I'm changing mine to Times New Roman. Now as you can see, it's changed immediately. I can change my font size to my desired design. Let's change it and leave it. Let's leave it at, let's say 8 or 6. Let's leave it at 8. Yeah, at 8. Now we can change the color background for the text. We can change it to blue, and then we can click and make it bold. As you can see, this is, I think it's look more okay. Let me put it at 9. No, let's leave it at 8. You can also write desired text that we need. We can leave it at 9. Now you can type in our desired text, I mean to say. So this is our foreground capacity. As we want the that is, it's used to control the visibility of the text. Now this is the background. The background is used to control the background color of the text, but for now I'm not using it. To on the visibility of the background, now it's at 0%. That's why you cannot see it. If I increase it, you can see the background, the text background opacity. Now let's return it back as, you can leave it as no color. Let's put it back at white, or we leave it as it is. Now you can change it to italic depending on what you want. Depending on, now you can click on the underline to underline the text. So this is under the label is where the changes are made. Let's minimize the label. Okay, the label are in two formats, which is the font properties and the label formats. The label formats, we can change the orientation of the label, which is showing that when the text is on the uphill side, it will change its orientation. We can edit the curve label. Can make edits here. Let's leave it off. If you leave it on, let's leave it off. This is the curve tolerance. You can see edit it to make your text look much more better. Then this is the curve label distance, 2 meters in, 2.5 meters in. So this can make it, let's leave it at 2 meters each. You can do other editing here. Let's leave it at 0.5. we don't need this. So now we have edited our contour. The next thing we are to do is to import our contour into our AutoCAD map.